All right, I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed it, Pressure Points. It's your two favorite hosts. I'm D, and this is Space Boy AJ. We're coming at you with Season 8, Episode 12, Nemo's Cemetery. I'm going to be talking about one of the best outstanding litter finds in Australia. So find us on Instagram and Patreon at pointsopressure.com, bitch.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
After speaking at length about, legal processes within certain families,
Yeah, and then we talk about litter finds.
I know what this is about.
Yeah.
Roughly this episode. I love this kind of thing where a nation imposes a fine on something because I don't know, on this level it's just so funny.
That's so goofy.
It's very goofy. It's very fun.
Yeah. How was your week?
Oh, can't complain too bad.
Yeah.
Worked a regular amount, played so much Tarkov.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Good.
I've been tearing it up.
Hell yeah. Good.
Saw some family yesterday, pretty straightforward, nothing too fancy.
Fucking nice.
Yeah, it was chill. I really need to start doing things on my days off.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
chores.
It's just hard to.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Oh, I was saying it's hard to get out of the house on days off.
Oh, that too. I don't
That
want
shit,
to.
I'm
I leave the house on my
yuck.
days that I work. Why would I
Yeah, right.
want to leave the days I don't work?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that makes sense.
Gross.
For show.
We should go out try to go out once a week or
I
something.
know, we need to go out more
Even
often.
if it's a little drive.
Yeah, we need to get out of the house more often.
Yeah, just to see,
Shit, man.
Just
We
break
should have gone to the Dachshund Derby in fucking, where was that, Midvale on Saturday? That shit would have been fun. I'm pretty sure the Mountain Man Rendezvous is coming up. That'd be kind of cool to check out. One's in Fort Benaventura, I think.
Yeah, I think I went there when I was a Boy Scout.
Yeah, just a little guy.
Yeah, what do they do there?
They do hatchet throwing, and they have little competitions skeet shooting and everything. Everything you would imagine at scout camp, but done by guys in big tough fucking mountain man suits and
Hell yeah.
furs and shit. So leather making. It's basically just going to scout camp for a few hours.
All right,
Which
yeah,
is
we
still
should do that.
kinda
Why
cool.
not?
Yeah.
Why not? We'll make an episode on it.
We were told last year, I think it was brought up by the viewer that gave our paint cup holder.
The
not good at words right now, Jesus. We just talked for an hour about family drama.
We just wasted all the energy, all the pizzazz, all the charisma.
Yeah, I was just bitching over here about my fucking in-laws.
Yeah.
No, that's it's fucking goofy shit. But yeah, so I'm not good with words, so I guess good thing this
Good
is
thing
my
we're doing a
first
podcast.
fucking episode back. But yeah, so
Yeah, that sounds like fun. How was your week?
It's been all right. So I've been pulling back more on work. It was
Hell yeah.
you know what, fuck them, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I've been doing my overtime, I've just been doing it as carefree as I possibly can.
Good.
But Friday I was doing my overtime, and I get this order, and it's oh hey, check Pennsylvania's website for this fucking license. So I see it and I go, okay, I'll get to it in 15 minutes, whatever, fuck that. I'm going to go play, I'm going to pull up this fucking enshrouded server for Abby and we'll just goof around on that while I do my overtime. Get back to it 15, 20 minutes later, go to Pennsylvania's website. They're we're down for maintenance. So whenever that happens, I have to reach out to a manager to say, hey, can I put this in the backlog for the weekend kind of thing? Because you have to have manager approval. I'm in overtime on a Friday.
Yeah.
I put a message in basically the chat that's every single person that works these things,
Hell
not
yeah.
just my team, but 4
Everyone?
other teams. And I was is there a manager that can give me approval to put this into a fucking follow-up? And like 20 minutes goes by. Nothing.
So everybody's slacking
No one's
off.
even responded
So
to it.
everyone's
It's not that
fucking
everyone's
off.
slacking. They might just not even be there. I don't even know who was online because I was like, I'm not going to fucking check.
No.
So it's just sitting there and I was like, all right. So I just fucking delete the order on my side and just go, fuck it, and clock out. I didn't do anything for overtime that day for like the 45 minutes that I was in there. So I was like, I still have like 30 minutes to do. So Saturday I sit down. I was like, yeah, I'll get some done. Sitting there, do one order. I get another one, and it's Illinois. I was like, all right, I'll let it sit, let it do its thing. 15 minutes later, I go to the Illinois website, check for this license, and it's like 404 site unavailable. Their
Hell
website
yeah.
is down as well. And I was like, fuck it. I don't give a shit. So I just let it hit like 30 minutes I needed. Then I deleted, clocked out, and I was like, suck my dick. Like, talk to me about it on Monday. I don't fucking care at this point, dude.
Hell yeah. Hey, any aspiring business owners who are listening to this, that's what happens when you force people to do overtime week after week after week.
Yeah, we all kind of hit a
Everybody
no
gets burnt
fucks
out,
given.
and
Yeah.
nobody gives a shit about anything anymore.
Yeah, dude. It's just like, I was like, write me up. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
about
what are you
this,
going to do?
dude.
Fire me?
Yeah, exactly.
Put me. Oh God. Oh no, you're gonna fire me? Oh no, dang.
I just turned to
shucks.
Abby and I was like, what the fuck do I even do with this? Like, I was like, this message has been chilling for like 40 minutes. And when I got back in on Saturday, nobody had even responded to the message I sent on Friday.
Fuck yeah.
Like, and my boss was out of office half of Thursday and all of Friday. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, who fucking cares, man?
Nobody
Like, I
gives
don't
a
give
shit. Nobody cares anymore. That's
So, yeah,
great.
I
So
kicked my
everyone's on the
feet
same
up.
page.
Yeah, I took it easy this weekend and just, I mean, pretty much this whole week. I just said, fuck it. Like, who gives a shit?
Good.
It's been nice.
Good. You can get some of that brain back.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's been pretty sweet. So, but yeah.
And guess what? Hey, you get paid the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Same fucking story.
Mm.
But yeah, I suppose we can shift into the episode. So a couple of weeks ago when we talked to you guys about me kind of not doing like every other episode, kind of just taking my foot off the gas a little bit. AJ sent me a couple links and was like, hey, these are really easy, straightforward episodes.
Yeah, this is something I'm working on.
Yeah. This one might be because I'll be honest, that's like the biggest holdup for me is when I'm writing notes, I'll pull up like 5 different topics that I have saved, and I'll look at them and I'll be like, God, dude, like this is like an 8-hour exploration piece that I've got to dive into. Like, God damn it. Like, I don't want to be locked in and writing notes for 8 hours today. You know what I mean? So these helped out a ton. Just to have something that's like, hey, I already know something about it. I can talk to you about it. I can help guide you along if there's anything that you may have missed or whatever. So thank you for that. I appreciate
Of course.
it. But yeah, so this episode, some of my future episodes, they're going to be they're not going to be like the most in-depth, like wild episodes.
Yeah, it's
some
all right.
shorter stuff, but I just don't want to like fully give up on you guys.
Yeah, they'll be typical pressure points episodes.
Yeah, just the average D episode.
The average just pressure points episode. Yeah.
So yeah, this one I dig it. It's not as historical as I would like per se, but it's still a good time. So the furthest point from all human life on the Earth is a place called Point Nemo. And obviously you can say, oh, it's the fucking South Pole, right? You can say it's somewhere in the Antarctica.
No, there are people in
Yeah.
Antarctica.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But like furthest from human life, even like the most remote fucking person.
Yeah, from any human
Yeah.
being. It's the
Yeah.
furthest point away.
Point Nemo. The closest people that get to that point, because it's not like a common trade route because of how far out it is. It's
It actually
hard.
has to be away
Yeah.
from trade routes. It was
Yeah.
chosen because there weren't trade routes through it.
Yeah, it's like it's one that people don't go there because one, it's very dangerous to go there, and two, if you have problems out there, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
The closest that really anybody gets to Point Nemo, if you're right in the middle of Point Nemo, furthest from human life, there are certain times when the closest people to you are the members on the International Space Station. Fucking, what was it? Like 250 miles above you, which is fucking insane.
Great. Yeah,
about.
it's so crazy.
Like, you think about the most like remote you have ever been from anything else, and then imagine the closest thing above you is 250 miles above you.
Yeah, 250 miles above you, and it's some dude in a capsule in space.
Right? And the closest land below you, the ocean at that point is 2.5 miles deep. So you are 2.5 miles from land. And that's land that if you're touching, you're already compressed and fucking dead.
Yeah, you're already
anyway.
dead. That's straight down.
Yeah. I think it's like you're 1,600 miles to the closest island or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
It's just so fucking remote out there. They actually call it the Oceanic Pull of Inaccessibility, which is just
such
like,
a cool name.
It
sounds like
it's such a mouthful, but it sounds like
Lemony Snicket's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
It sounds like an L. Ron Hubbard book.
It does, yeah, absolutely. That would be an
sounds
awesome
like one of the
sci-fi
sounds like
book.
one of the Scientology levels. When you pay $15 million, you hit the Oceanic
ascend.
Pull of Inaccessibility. But yeah, so this is between New Zealand and Chile. It's about halfway between. So it's in the Pacific Ocean. And yeah, dude, it is. I can't even imagine. Like, I can't even imagine like 100 miles off the coast.
Yeah,
and just being like
so
above
remote.
the ocean. That shit's wild. It's crazy to think about. So Point Nemo, however, it does have a use. That's why it has a name. It's not.
Yeah, that's why we know about it.
Yeah, it's not one of those. It's just like, oh, hey, it's the middle of nowhere. We can't get radio signals out there very well. Avoid it at all costs because it's remote. No, it has its name because it's also referred to as a space cemetery. Over a 47-year span from 1971 to 2018, the U.S., Russia, and Russia is in the Soviet Union, Japan, and Europe, pretty much all over the planet, have utilized Point Nemo, the Oceanic Pool of Inaccessibility. They've utilized all of this to crash 263 different spacecrafts just straight into the ocean.
It's NASA's trash can.
Yeah,
there's like, hey, make sure when it re-enters, it's gonna hit this point.
NASA's trash can would have been a really good episode title.
That is a good episode title.
Now, generally, when spacecrafts or any I guess you can call it space trash since it was already kind of decommissioned and headed towards the dumpster on its way down. But any of these pieces or parts or these crafts, when they hit re-entry, generally it's only fuel tanks or rocket boosters that actually make it to the ocean, because these are hitting re-entry at 17,000 miles an hour.
Some of them are dropped off before it starts getting super far through the
most of this
atmosphere.
shit just fucking melts and disappears anyway. A bunch of pieces get caught in orbit or whatever, if anything had broken off before. So, I mean, the only pieces that are at the bottom of this are like the pieces that even God himself didn't fucking want.
Yeah.
It's just like,
fuck it.
I can't burn that. Fuck it. Who cares? You know? It's pretty well, I should say it's largely unknown what the condition of any of these parts are, because it's hard to get
nobody
to
goes
the bottom
there.
of this ocean. Nobody goes out there. NASA's not going to pay for a program to go clean up the ocean. They're trying to get off the planet in the first place. Why the fuck are they going to go further in? But yeah, a lot of people don't know. I mean, scientists don't know the status of some of these parts that are in there. One of the articles that I was reading was like, oh, archaeologists in 1,000 years are going to be able to, like, there's a likelihood that they'll be able to utilize some of this technology to figure out how we can be recycling like spacecraft products so that
after it's been causing damage for 1,000 years.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, bro, like it's already at the bottom of the ocean. Also, archaeologists aren't going to be around in 1,000 years because the human race won't be around.
Yeah, there'll be
1,000
octopi
years. They got like
archaeologists.
30 more max. But yeah, it's just wild to think that, like, it's like, think about, because every city has one. Every single city has an open lot that nobody's purchased because it's over like a fucking sinkhole or some shit. Ever since you were a kid, there has never been a building on this lot. There's just an area that has nothing on it, and there's garbage on it.
Heroin needles, trash.
Nobody fucking knows what's in there, and nobody's going to go check, because why the fuck would you go into the empty lot that's probably condemned that nobody wants to fucking touch? Same concept with this, but this is 1,600 miles away from anyone.
Well, yeah, and it also is the point of once NASA knows and publishes a report about how much damage they're doing with literal, rocket fuel
They've
in
already
the ocean.
done irreparable harm.
Then they would be potentially held responsible to clean it up.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like let's not think about this, let's not
Yeah.
talk about this.
Well,
don't ask, don't tell of NASA. And
that
the
kind of
ocean.
falls along the same lines with some of, like, we will talk about the litter charge here in a minute, but it's one of those funny things that in this situation, NASA and other space groups in like all over the world that have utilized this spot, you can be fined. Like, obviously, dumping shit into the ocean, you can be fined. But if you're dumping shit into the ocean from like an oil rig or whatever, yeah, you would get fined because it's pretty fucking obvious that you were the one dumping shit into the ocean.
Yeah, and
a
you're like,
spacecraft that re-enters, crashes into the ocean, and then parts go down to a depth that, like, you're not going to be able to send equipment down to recover it because these pieces weigh like 5,000 pounds. Like, you can't claim it. And
who's going to verify
yeah,
it?
who's
going to verify
the commission
it?
that's going to go out to the middle of literally nowhere
And start
dive
identifying
down
these
and
pieces.
start looking for...
It's like, oh, this one's NASA. Oh, this one's...
Oh, I don't know about this one.
Oh, this one looks like it's from Japan. You see the writing there?
Exactly. So
Nobody's
it's kind of
doing
one of
that.
those, if you aren't claiming your trash, you can't get fined for it. If NASA were going out there and recovering parts, then they would be fined for littering because they
It's
littered
their parts.
to find their parts.
Yeah.
But they can't, there's not a lot that can really be done around it because it's like, well, maybe other parts got drawn in, or maybe we bumped a couple things on re-entry and brought some of the millions of pieces of space trash in with us,
Well, and it's like that far out. It's like, okay, what nation owns this part of the ocean?
And they've been utilizing
Like,
it since 1971.
Yeah, what nation owns that part of the ocean, whose laws that part of the ocean falls under, is going to send people out to watch. Oh, we got one coming in. That looks Russian.
Imagine being the guy that's just in a robo out in the middle of nowhere.
with the
and you just
binoculars.
You got to identify and hope you don't get hit by space debris.
And yeah, like, it's, even if it is, there's like international maritime law and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the UN's not sending out a schooner to track down
And
as
dive
these
to find any
horribly toxic
Yeah.
and like terrible chemicals are just being dumped in the
And
ocean.
I'll get into the
Okay.
it's like one of the chemicals and everything. So keep in mind, some of these parts are 50 years old at this point. Like, these are old fucking
these
space
are-
parts. You wouldn't even be able to identify some of them in the first place.
It's like imagine the fucking Apollo, moonshot crew
Yeah.
shit that they were dumping
Yeah.
in future stuff possibly ended up at this point. Like, their understanding of the environment,
Yeah.
their
It's
understanding of chemical containment and environmental damage is drastically different
Seriously, though.
80 years in the future, 70 years in the future.
Before they even knew anything about climate change in the first place.
Yeah.
So in 1973, NASA had sent Skylab into orbit, and they planned on it being...
Skylab is cool.
They planned on sending it out there for quite a while. I didn't really get any details on Skylab, so if you know anything, go for it.
I just think it's fun. A lot of people saw it come down, and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah. So, they sent Skylab into orbit. They planned on it being out there for quite a while, but within 6 years, it was a space station, I should say.
It was the first space station by NASA.
It had a bunch of labs on it and everything. It had deteriorated so much that they needed to bring it back to Earth in 1979. Now, their approach was, at this time, Point Nemo wasn't being used as often. I mean, mind you, Point Nemo hadn't even been around for like 10 years. They were doing the math to like get the trajectory right. But a lot of these, they were saying, hey, just get it in the Pacific. Like, it's a huge target. Land in the Pacific, and we'll figure it out from there. Maybe we'll have people out there that can rush out and do some space cleanup. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll let it fall
they would have
to
some
the bottom,
people...
and we'll ignore it. You know,
exactly.
They
actually,
a massive ocean.
I remember reading this, that in certain areas where it was going to go over land, where it was expected to have debris, in like impoverished areas, they would pay people. Like, hey, we'll give you $5 if you get a piece of the space station.
Oh, Jesus!
And then they would have people in those areas to turn it in and pay.
Well, there were a lot
because there was some research that they wanted to get on like disintegration through the atmosphere and stuff.
And there were a lot that would lie about it as well when they would hear that. So people would just take pieces of like
scrap
metal or scrap metal or whatever and just show up and like sell it or like tell everyone, oh, I've got pieces of like a fucking rocket ship and it's nothing, and they're like selling it to fanboys or whatever. It's just such a funny situation, but just also so fucking predatory.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
So yeah, 1979, or no, they weren't planning on dropping it in the Pacific Ocean. They were aiming for the Indian Ocean.
Ooh, they missed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Aiming for the Indian Ocean. And the whole idea was we'll get it as close to the edge of like it catching gravity by slowing it down, and then basically let gravity do the rest and just have it drop straight down.
That's
instead of shooting in and just fucking trying to aim.
Yeah, you slow it down, and you're no longer in a sustained orbit. Gravity brings you down.
Yeah, and then I'd imagine in a lot of the current instances, the fact that these are entering in at 17,000 miles an hour, it's because they can be more precise and track the exact trajectory of these things to go straight to Point Nemo.
They have such good simulations and understanding of the friction that's going to be happening that they can aim it really well with that speed.
So back then, they're just like, hey, let's get it above the Indian Ocean and make sure it drops, right? Which is not an ideal situation. So they slow it down, they get it within gravity's range, and it starts pulling it down. And unfortunately, they missed their Indian Ocean target because it landed in fucking Central Australia.
Yeah.
And because they had slowed the descent, a lot of these pieces are surviving the fall because they're not just blasting it straight into an ocean at full speed. So you're getting like these 22-foot long airlocks that are falling and landing in people's fucking backyards. Well, this is Central Australia, so I mean it's pretty much the outback. But I mean,
it's
there's
bush.
still people out there.
Yeah.
I mean, that one lady's daughter was out there. The dingo didn't eat her baby. People are seeing pieces drop all over the place. There are 38 other pieces in addition to that 22-foot long airlock. 38 pieces that weigh almost 1,000 pounds each. That is
shit.
Fucked.
That is
so much.
Holy shit.
Like, imagine half of like your car.
Yeah, that's half a car
dropping
just
from somewhere
there.
that you can't even fucking see it until it's too close and it's too late.
Yeah, and then you can find the picture online of that lady who got hit by a meteor, and it was like a quarter size or something, and it almost shattered her femur.
It's just
Like
now imagine what 1,000
now imagine
pounds
1,000 pounds at
half of a car can
17,000
do.
miles an hour re-entering.
The fucking engine block of a car.
Yeah, an engine block
Jesus.
going so fast you can't even fucking see it.
Yeah. So in response, after all of this, NASA was doing all their best to like recover parts, kind of doing a little bit of a cleanup, get everything back together. I would assume they're all out there in fucking like hazmat suits recovering everything.
It's like E.T.
Yeah, and they're just like Aborigines that are just like, what the fuck is all
Yeah, what
this?
the fuck is happening?
So NASA does their best to clean up and everything, but in response, one of the areas that got hit by some of the space debris fined NASA $400 big old bucks for littering.
$400
$400 littering fine
for
space debris. And in the 70s, mind you, it was probably about $1,000 today or whatever the fuck
Still.
the
They had
conversion
what, a $40
is.
million budget in the 70s
It's
per
NASA.
year.
Fine the fuck out of them for missing
Jesus.
the
They missed
Indian
the
Ocean
ocean,
by that
yeah.
much. Yeah, how badly do you have to miss a target to basically destroy people in Central Australia?
Yeah, just
They're
imagine.
They're like, well, I mean, the middle of Australia is about as remote as Point Nemo.
as the Indian Ocean.
Some
Fucking sheep herder just gets annihilated.
for real. But yeah, that's kind of in reference to how big some of these pieces are in Point Nemo and kind of why people pointed all of their space debris towards Point Nemo, because NASA obviously as silly
those
as a
fines
mistake,
are gonna stack
yeah,
up.
it'll stack up, but as silly as a mistake that is, NASA doesn't want to have the bad press of, yeah, one of our space stations crushed a family of 5. You know what I mean?
It's also, they are scientists, and yeah, they were headed by Werner von Braun for a while, but they are still expected to conduct these experiments ethically,
Yeah.
without putting people
Yeah.
at risk, minimizing the risk.
I mean, think about how much slower the space race is going to be if everyone on the planet is at risk of getting crushed by half of the fucking
just
car.
falling debris.
Like the push to explore space wouldn't be nearly as big if it was, hey, there's a chance at any point in your life, there's a high chance that you'll be crushed by a rocket that's re-entering.
Oh my God.
It's one of those things that it's like, to point everything towards Point Nemo is smart. But I think that there should be a better situation for cleanup or recovery.
Yeah, I mean, I like return it to the planet if we need it for research. If we need to study something about it, return it to the planet. If not, jettison it into the sun. There's not gravity. Do your math, nerds. Yeah. Line it up so it doesn't get into the gravitic field of any planet, and just launch that bitch into the sun.
Yeah.
Who cares? But I'm looking at the Skylab. I see the map where it goes right over Australia where the projected entry was.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. Okay, if anybody owns one of these or can find one, let me know. Send us a link. Apparently, it was such a big event, the re-entry of the Skylab, that they were selling T-shirts and hats with bullseyes on them, and certain people were selling Skylab repellent with a money-back guarantee.
I want one of those shirts, but then I want to do an iron-on dart and have a little iron-on dart that's like by my fucking belly button, and it's in the middle of Australia, and you still have the target up on your chest or whatever.
Damn. And there was a betting pool, and I found the bounty I was talking about. It wasn't from NASA. It was from the San Francisco Examiner. The newspaper. They offered a $10,000 reward, which is $43,000 today, for the first piece of Skylab delivered directly to its offices.
Oh my God.
And then their rival, the San Francisco Chronicle, offered $200,000, which is $866,000 today.
Jesus Christ.
If somebody got a piece and it either it damaged their property or it hurt them, and they
I wonder
survived.
how many people were just like, I need you to just throw a bunch of sheet metal at me, old rusty sheet metal, and we'll just send it in.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
exactly. One neighborhood in Nebraska got together and painted a large target on the ground so that they had something to aim for. It's most Nebraska shit. They're so
Yeah, for
bored
real.
there.
They're just like, please just kill me. I don't want to live here anymore. Hit my property with fucking 4,000 pounds of space debris because I know I won't survive.
Yeah, and there were a lot. I'll finish real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
A lot of different newspapers were offering all these things, but they were only offering them because NASA assured everybody that it would not hit land.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of places offering, debris, first piece of debris at our place that could be proven part of the Skylab. You're going to get thousands of dollars
Jesus Christ.
because our NASA nerd said it wouldn't hit land.
Because these guys
Whoops.
are fuck-ups.
Yeah, and then it did, which is fantastic.
God, dude, it's fucking crazy. But yeah, like I said, just all in reference to how big these pieces are. Mir, or I don't know how the fuck I don't really care how you would say it in Russian, but Mir was the Soviet space station that went up. And that one actually came down in Point Nemo.
Whoa.
Yeah, right?
They did their math a little bit better.
For real. They had the space station itself was like a 43-foot long core that had, I think it was like 5 or 6 rooms connected to it. And so, I mean, this thing,
It has style
it's like
points.
the size of a fucking house, basically.
It's got style points.
And they're like, yeah, we're going to send this down. There are pieces of that are still there. Mind you, some of them have melted off, but like, think of that like a fucking space house that they're like, we're going to land this in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, that's just
And we're just going to leave it there.
yeah. Hope it breaks up enough to sink.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And
because it's not like they're packing everything out.
yeah, no. There's going to be residual fuel. There's going to be heavy metals, toxic metal. You talk about that stuff
they
later.
They didn't fly it all out
Yeah,
like with the astronauts that came home.
no, they built
just-
it up piecemeal.
Yeah, they just go fuck it.
They
it'll
didn't
figure
bring it down.
Figure it out.
Yeah, no, that costs way too much.
Dude, they're estimations that chunks as large as a car
Holy shit!
are at the bottom of Point. I keep wanting to say Point Loma, and I don't know why.
I want to say Point Pleasant.
At Point Nemo from the Mir space station, but from all of the other things that have landed down there, it's basically just like if you live in Utah and you've driven through northern Utah, I imagine Point Nemo just looks like the outside of Smith and Edwards.
Yeah.
But with NASA logos
Yeah,
all over.
NASA and shit.
But yeah, it's
Hammers and sickles and shit.
yeah, right. There are likely as many as 1,500 car-sized pieces at the bottom of the ocean over there.
Holy shit! 1,500?
1,500
Holy
pieces.
shit!
Yeah. I mean,
That's a new
it was
reef.
263
Yeah.
that they've crashed into there. The likelihood of those breaking up into more and more pieces like that,
Holy
it's fucking
shit.
crazy. Luckily, it's really far from civilization, but it's not
Well,
the greatest solution to be
not luckily,
dumping in the ocean. Yeah.
human civilization isn't the only life on Earth.
Yeah, for real. And I mean, this is considering the chemical hydrazine, which is
Hydrazine
the
is so
rocket
bad.
propellant that they use. It's incredibly toxic to anything that lives. That includes fucking plants, any kind of organism. Can't imagine that's the greatest thing to be at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah,
And they're-
leaking out.
Yeah.
It also doesn't it take a long time to degrade?
I don't even know what the half-life is, but I bet it's it's fuel. I bet it's got such a
Yeah.
long half-life. And if it's ice cold at the bottom of the Pacific, it's basically preserving it even further. But yeah, it's it's such a shit situation that I feel like it's gonna hit a point where something really bad is gonna happen with all of it, where it kind of hits a point of no return, where it's like, okay, like,
Oh.
yeah, we shouldn't have done this. Did you pull it up? Did you find out the half-life?
Yes. So the environmental half-life in water is 8.3 days, and then it decomposes into hydrogen, nitrogen, ammonia, or hydrogen and nitrogen, or ammonia and nitrogen, depending on the composition of the water. So it just fucks up the ocean.
Oh, god damn. That's good. That's fine.
Let's see.
No biggie. Nothing like ammonia at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
No, it's great. Ocean life isn't sensitive at all to the chemicals in the water.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It's fine. And then obviously we all know about fucking space debris and space trash that's still orbiting the Earth. I mean, I looked it up. There are basically 130 million pieces that are like larger than a centimeter. So like dime-sized pieces that are just floating around out there.
Oh yeah, in the trash belt.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
then
oh
there
my God.
are 36,000 pieces that are larger than 10 centimeters.
That's so much.
Yeah, and it's just like they have programs that they're trying to push for like cleaning these things up. They're sending like satellites out there with like nets on them and shit. But it's like, how do you catch dimes in space? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Meanwhile, that
128 million dimes.
Yeah, and those dimes can be going thousands of miles per hour from an Earth perspective. You know, everything's relative, but they're so fast that these tiny things can just, you miscalculate your satellite.
Yeah, it's fucking done
It's
forever.
destroyed.
Yeah, you send it to Point Nemo.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Otherwise, Perth, Australia. No, it is so dangerous, that space trash, that you have to. There are big enough groups of it that they're mapped by all the different space agencies, because they have to time their space flights around them. Because if you're just sending a rocket, let's say, to resupply the space station, and your rocket goes through one of those debris fields, it's not getting there, and now you have more big chunks of metal.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up.
It's
Most
so
satellites aren't
problematic.
hardened against any kind of damage, electrical or physical damage, which is so dangerous.
But I mean, same kind of thing. At this point, we've kind of hit a point where what can you do other than just avoid it? Like,
do your best to avoid it.
Yeah.
But then that's pushing these satellites further out.
Pushes them
and then
out
when one of those
further.
breaks, suddenly there's more debris in the outer field.
Yeah.
And it's
just
harder to communicate and send communication waves through the trash pile.
Yeah.
So it's getting to the point where we're going to be Wall-E.
Yeah.
You
This is a problem for future D.
Yeah.
It's one of those where, like, obviously I don't have any fucking solutions to this.
No,
Like, my solution is, like, I don't know, fucking nuke it out there. I don't fucking know. Go out with like big bug catchers. Like, there's nothing you can really do at this point. So that's not really what the whole episode is about. It's just about, there's a point on this fucking earth that nobody goes because
it's too dangerous.
That's where fucking space pieces fall into the ocean. It's fucking preposterous. But yeah. So,
and yeah, it's not only, it's hydrazine, there's potentially lead, other heavy metals. Like, this shit is leaching into the ocean. People still say, I don't know if it's true, you don't come here for truth, do you?
Hope not.
People still say that you can find radioactive fish from Fukushima.
Oh, shit.
Like, what the fuck is all these other fucking chemicals doing just slowly over time, just poisoning?
The Atlanteans are
they're
their,
fucked.
Yeah, they're using all these space parts to build their own
to get onto land.
Recycled fucking rocket ship.
They've basically turned into the Atlanteans from Futurama, where they're all like Southern.
Yeah.
That's what
for
happens
real.
with the hydrazine.
Jesus Christ.
Let's see. I was trying to find scientific research on what happens to hydrazines in water. I've just seen one fun study that just put what you would expect to be like parts per million, like 7 parts per million
For toxicity.
in a bunch of for toxicity in a tank with a bunch of bluegills in there.
Jesus.
And within 4 hours, they were all swimming on one side, and they were all dead in like
God.
8. So
Great.
not great.
Yeah, good. Oh, grand. Solid new fishing spot.
Oh, yeah.
Point Nemo. Check it out.
So just in humans, it's cancer, obviously, liver, kidney damage, respiratory issues, bronchitis, pulmonary edema. Let's see. Just it's not good. It kills you. It rots you. Rots you from the inside out.
10 out of 10. Hey, and if you want something else that rots you from the inside out, check us out on Patreon. Patreon.com/points of pressure.
Yeah.
Exclusive episode per month. AJ's series called Voices. Our Sloppy Seconds episodes. Some free episodes if you've got a free membership. So check it out. Go support us on there. We'd greatly appreciate it. And if you can't afford it, it's okay. But you got those names?
Yeah, so we've got space dumping commissioners,
Yeah.
Minnie D, Thomas, Toddle, Waddle, and Grover. Thank you guys so much.
Anti-littering fine commission.
Yeah, libertarian space junk removal service. The board, they allow us to continue to do these episodes. Let's see. And then, of course, we've got Abby, AJ's Third Nut, Nordic Thunder, Weston, Dark Runner, and D's Nuts. Thank you guys so much for showing us some support, letting us hang out and yap and, all that stuff.
We appreciate you guys for supporting us and taking it easy. And as always, if you guys ever have any recommendations for movies, TV shows, books, articles, if you find something that pertains to an episode we did or something you'd like us to check out or do an episode in the future, episode ideas, whatever, send it along. If you just need to chat with somebody, reach out to us on Instagram at pointsopressure. Feel free to email us at ppdnaj@gmail.com or go to our website, pointsopressure.com. Send us a voicemail or an email, and we will catch you guys next Monday.